What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. I'm here with my illustrious, always famous guest, Bogard Scott-Free of the GMM Network.
You're too kind, please. No pictures. No pictures.
Bogard, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at the GMM Network on both IG and Twitter. I'm basically revolting Twitter, but that's my excuse because I'm just not on Twitter. But you know what I mean? Like, I just tell people I'm revolting. As long as Robbie's suspended, I'm revolting. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, find me at the GMM Network on IG and Twitter, and you could subscribe to the GMM Network on YouTube. Find the Real Fantasy Playmakers podcast on all streaming platforms.
Hail to the yeah.
Let's cut the crap, man. What's the Steel? What are the 2021 Steelers gonna look like, man?
Bruh.
I mean, wait, okay, bring me up to speed. So Pouncey retired, right?
Yes, sir.
So Pouncey retired. Big Ben, he went, but he's doing his Big Ben shit where he cries like he might not come back, and then now it looks like he's gonna come back. And but they're definitely gonna have to restructure his joint. You know what I mean?
For sure, no doubt.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then, I mean, damn, it's just so crazy, bro. Like, I think it's moving forward. If they move forward without Big Ben, it's, that defense, I still think they'll be okay. You know what I mean? They're not going to be no 11-0 type of shit, but what are you hearing over there in Pittsburgh land?
I don't know, dude. Here's the thing. We got 13 guys coming up on contract or some shit like that. And in my opinion, we're in trouble because I didn't think we should have been, 12-0 last year or 11-0 or whatever the fuck we were.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, and what scares me about everything, oh Jesus, oh God, my camera froze up. Anyway, I'm gonna continue on, and then if it doesn't, I'll fix it. But anyway, the problem is that honestly, if Ben does go, I still think we're fucked because Dwayne Haskins is not the answer, but we signed him for some reason.
Dwayne Haskins is what I'm
No shit, dude. He's not gooder, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's to the point where the Steelers are a team that are always right there, I feel like, but when is it going to be time to take the next step and begin to move forward in the process to make a championship caliber team again? Because at this point, the offseason moves, the draft picks, everything they do doesn't seem like they're heading in that direction. It seems like the exact opposite. Fuck, I was mad they took Chase Claypool in the draft. Like, it's things like that, like little things like that. Like, why draft Chase Claypool right there? We need a quarterback. But then you go out and you get Dwayne Haskins or pick up Eric Ebron. That's the big signing in free agency. Come on now.
Good old
Fuck.
frying pan hands Ebron.
Fuck, dude. Like, that shit's infuriating to me.
Hey, he was the guy that was more upset that he was like, man, we're not going to be able to really see our family. He's like, I got to see my wife. And, if you read between the lines, like, I need to fuck. You know what I mean? He's like, I can't be fucking. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
all right.
Yeah, man. That is a trip, though. I mean, why grab Claypool there? You know what I mean?
It makes no sense.
Yeah, and why not go after like a Jameis? Like, or maybe Jameis didn't want to go there. Because remember, that's what I was thinking Jameis would go, just sit behind Ben. But
I wish he would have.
Right? Because then they would be like, all right, Ben, you're out. You know what I mean? But
right.
I mean, I think Ben, it's visions of grandeur at this point because he is an old. There is only one Tom Brady. You know what I mean? And maybe even Aaron Rodgers will be able to play that deep into his career, but I mean, Big Ben is falling apart. You know what I mean?
I agree.
He's not young Big Ben anymore. Where what I mean? Like I'm surprised he lasted this long. Like, I mean, you've seen Cam Newton like over time. Like Cam Newton, that size of a guy, he gets beat up. You know what I mean? His style of play and Big Ben did change his style after one point. You know what I mean? Because he was like a quote unquote like mobile QB, not mobile, but you know what I mean. He can get loose. You know what I mean? Before
he was a play extender.
There you go.
no
Yeah.
doubt.
And
But
like,
he's not
yeah,
he's not that way anymore. He's just a big tree. He doesn't really move very fast.
that's what I'm saying.
He's
And
just
like
out there moving.
that line is so bad. You know what I mean? Like that, and like I'll credit to the offensive coordinator, for making the game plan where it's like, all right, you just got to get this ball out quick. Or maybe Big Ben will steal the credit for that, because there was at one point, remember the game against the Colts? They were like, oh, Ben's pulling plays off top of his head because he was like, fuck this offensive coordinator. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of funny because, what I'm saying, like that Big Ben kind of runs the shit over there. Like he got rid of what was Buddy's name, man? He ended up going to the Browns after the offensive coordinator.
Todd Haley was there before
Todd
Randy
Haley.
Fichtner.
Yeah, exactly. So he had beef with Todd Haley. Get rid of him.
Todd Haley was cheeks. That's why.
I mean, you know what's crazy? I like the idea of Todd Haley when it came to fantasy because it's like feed this running back, target Antonio Brown. You know what I mean? That was what it was. And then when he went to the Browns, I remember telling everybody, "Yo, grab this kid Nick Chubb up." Like, you know what I mean? Like, this was his rookie year. Even though he was behind Carlos Hyde, I was, in my keeper league, I was like, I'm drafting that motherfucker because once he gets his shot, you know what I mean? Todd Haley. Granted, they got rid of Todd Haley the next year, but, you know what I mean? But still, like, you know what I mean? My point is, like, Big Ben, I feel like he likes to be responsible for the wins. I mean, who wouldn't, right? You're the quarterback, you're the leader of the team. Yeah, but I feel like at this point in his career, it should be defense and run the ball. Like, they should be, like, a conscious effort to run the ball because, you know what I mean? Like, he's going to put up phenomenal numbers playing from behind. And ironically, you have a defense that'll keep you in these games. You know what I mean? Like, that mind-blowing to me this year. Like, he barely even put away the Eagles. And the Eagles were one of the worst offenses this year. You know what I mean? Even week one, you know what I mean? Danny fucking Dimes. Granted, it was week one, no preseason, nothing like that. So week one was kind of like a preseason game, but Danny Dimes came out there and shredded them up. So like, maybe the Steelers defense isn't as, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just think like, damn, it would have been so dope for someone like a Jameis Winston to go there, man. Because if Big Ben comes back, I mean, I guess like another year removed from the Tommy John, I guess that'll, you know what I mean? That you would assume that'd be better, right? I mean, you definitely saw the after a while, you definitely did see like where it was taking a toll on, you know, because he wasn't stretching the field. But that could also have been credited to like just that pressure that the line was giving up. You know what I mean? Some balls always coming out quick. Either way, that's going to be one of the ones that's going to be hard, for Steelers Nation to be like, damn, okay. Life after Big Ben. I mean, it's the same thing for the Saints right now. Like, we're going to see life after Drew Brees. You know what I mean? And it's like, are they ready for Taysom Hill? You know what I mean? Or is it going to be Jameis? You know what I mean? Like,
it better not be Jameis.
He's like, hey, I would love Jameis with the Steelers. Because
I would too, dude.
Coach T, bro, like, he how about this? Jameis Winston went from a dirt cutter, then to Bruce Arians for a year, then he was under Sean Payton for a year, just kind of learn, and behind Drew Brees, just kind of learning, right? I mean, put him with Coach T. You know what I'm saying? I like that's a certain of coach that we're gonna play his strengths, and that is throwing the ball. You know what I mean? Like, and all the weapons there. Like, I mean, Jameis always had weapons too, anywhere he's been at. You know what I mean? So
everywhere he's been.
Yeah. So you get him over there, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You got a ton of weapons.
I wish they would have taken him, and I was mad they didn't because I think Jameis Winston has serious potential. No, granted, the guy makes some bonehead plays, and he threw 30 picks, all boo fucking who,
Yeah.
but still, you get in the right system after sitting behind the right guy, he's going to be a playmaker. That's how quarterbacks develop in the NFL. And I wish
that's the thing too with Big Ben.
it sucks.
He never gave a fuck about whoever was behind him to mentor them, or you know what I mean.
That's super true.
He didn't give a fuck.
So true.
He's like, you watch and learn. I ain't teaching you shit. You know what I mean? Like, you trying to take my job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's I don't know, man. it's gonna be a real interesting year as far as just the quarterback carousel in general. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Dude,
there's so much movement, so many fucking rumors. You know what I mean? Like I've I'm still trying to figure out how can my Niners get Watson somehow. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, man, this is like you
dude,
know what's funny is I was so happy that Dwayne Haskins got signed by the Steelers because I was just like, oh, please don't look at Dwayne Haskins. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I
please
was fucking
somebody grab him.
pissed. I
Hey,
was
you know what's
pissed.
crazy? He might be good though. It might, you connect him with a brother, with a coach, with a black coach. You know what I'm saying? Might be able to, you might identify with him more. Maybe he'll bring out that first round draft capital that he carried. Maybe put some value on that. Maybe he was actually worth that first round. Because essentially, you guys got to pick up a first round drafted QB for nothing. You know what I mean? If you think about it. Oh, what?
God damn it.
There it is. Yeah. No, I thought it was my internet at first. I was like, oh. Yeah.
Not
You
mine.
know why? Because we're talking about Dwayne Haskins, bro. Let's
Yeah,
change the
it's a
subject.
curse.
They're like, you know what
So
I'm saying?
so here's something that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
I mean, what's going on with this? The JJ Watt release.
I like him to go to the Steelers.
So do I.
Because
I
you know
think he
what, bro?
will.
I think he knows he's not worth all kind of crazy bread. Like I could see him going and playing for the men because he wants to go to a contender, right? And when
Agreed.
and yes, the Steelers are a contender. You know what I mean? You get, he's probably going to get offers elsewhere. Maybe he wants to go play for his home, go home and play for Green Bay and drink a bunch of spotted cows and shit like that. Because now he doesn't have to order them. Because that's a thing too. Apparently, like they can only get spotted cow in Wisconsin. So
Very true.
yeah, so he orders them bitches. So you know what I mean? He loves his spotted cow. But then also at the end of the day, it's like, within the division, like Tennessee was one of the worst as far as pass rush. You know what I mean? Maybe he goes over there. You know what I mean? Jacksonville. You know what I mean? But Tennessee's obviously you can consider a contender. But I think when he realizes nobody's going to give him the money, and I think he knows he's not worth crazy money, he will go play for the men. Maybe $800,000, for a year, and crash on Bruh's couch. You know what I mean? Hey TJ, I'm crashing on your couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. That's just it. I think if I were to guess, I think he's gonna want to play with his brothers for for the remainder or the
Yeah.
end of his
Or just
career.
outright chase the ring because it's really just, there's two veterans that I'm not sure their deals right now, but in Dominican Sue and what's his face JPP. I don't know if what's their contracts looking like, but they obviously like veteran presence on that line. Wouldn't it be obvious if you're gonna chase a ring?
I think Ndamukong Suh and JPP are both free agents.
Okay, yeah. See,
And Ndamukong Suh, I believe, is for sure. JPP, I'm not 100% off the top of my head.
and I could see them staying for the men. You know what I mean? And just imagine that you get all these guys playing for the minimum, and you could just rotate JJ Watt, JPP, and Ndamukong Suh. You feel me? Like,
That's fucking dangerous, bud.
yeah, it really is. I mean, and at this point in his career, I don't see him playing full complement of snaps anyway. He's dumbass injury prone. You know what I mean? But he also is getting double teamed his entire career, so it would be interesting for him to go to like a Steelers or you know what I mean, where there's other monsters alongside him. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like I would love him to come to the fucking Niners. Shit. But I don't know if you can consider us a contender. You know what I mean?
hey, not with that attitude.
Listen, I don't know if you see it, but it's the reverse jinx. I got it. The least expectations, trying to will them. I'm trying to reverse jinx them into glory. You know what I mean?
Dude, so something that I did want to bring up too, and this would be off of the JJ Watt topic. So they released JJ Watt. Ooh, some of that sticky icky.
Oh yeah, it's my medicine.
I got glaucoma.
Gotta have my medicine. I got glaucoma. Whatever it is, I got it. Mood disorder. Yes, just check all the boxes. My back aches.
I'm an insomniac. I can't
I got
sleep.
3 kids and 1 on the way. I gotta smoke weed. I mean, that's 3 kids, 1 on the way. Yeah, put me down for that. You know what?
Oh shit.
I got it all, Doc. You know what I mean?
Oh fuck. So the Texans decided to release JJ Watt after he obviously wants to leave, and he's made that clear. But the one question I got is, what does this mean for Deshaun Watson? Because Deshaun Watson wants to leave, and they've came out and said, no, we don't want to let Deshaun go. I mean, talk about a kick in the nuts, right? This guy's talking about losing $21 million next year in fines just not to play. Like, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm a little fucking salty, bro.
You know
like, you're
what?
gonna
You hold out for a year. You still make money technically because he's getting what, 40 a year, some shit like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Right? So he's gonna cough up 21. He's gonna be lamping somewhere. You know what I mean? And like, you know, I could see him getting traded eventually. You know what I mean? Like,
he definitely ain't re-signing, that's for sure.
they gave this motherfucker 6 years. The GM, right? So when you give somebody 6 years, you think about, all right, it's not gonna happen overnight. Like, they're actually, the way that contract to me says, all right, well, since Watson wants to get up out of here, and matter of fact, the disrespect. Like, this
Bad
is the guy
disrespect.
you're paying him top dollar to not have him involved in any combos. Like, ultimately, the goal is winning a Super Bowl, not being a good team. You have to be the best team. Like, that's what every mind state is, right? Like, they're not just trying to be like a good team. Motherfuckers want to win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right. No one's going out there for shits and giggles.
and when you look at that team, they don't got good defense, you know, personnel-wise. You know what I mean? You know, that team is an offensive team. You know what I mean? It's Watson or bust. So your best chances to get to the Super Bowl would be with Watson. I wouldn't want to trade him either. But, I mean, it is a real thing. Like, when a motherfucker ain't happy in the work field, you feel me? In the office, like you like, listen, I love working with you, Blake, because we get along. If we didn't get along, but we had to do this show, I'm like, man, I have to work this motherfucker again. You know what I mean?
God
or
damn.
vice versa. You'd be like, damn it, fucking Bogard is late again. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, if you're disgruntled, you know what I mean? They could show in your play. And then if you're not winning, like, they say winning heals everything, right? Look, they might not be winning, you know, for a while. You know what I mean? Like,
For a fucking while.
and the disrespect goes all the way back to, like, it's ironic, the disrespect, because you ship off, you know, DeAndre Hopkins, arguably one of the best receivers in the game, if not, right? And then the irony of that is you got rid of him because you couldn't pay him the crazy bag that what DeAndre Hopkins would demand because you didn't give the bag to Watson yet. So they ship him off. A couple months later, Watson gets his bag. You know what I mean? That's just the name of the game. And now he got his money, and he's kind of smart because if he already read the tea leaves and he knew he wanted to get the fuck up out of there eventually, he'd be like, all right, sign this motherfucking big ass contract. So now whatever team trades for me, they got this thing, you know, I got my numbers already. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to pick this contract up. Like, you know, that's why I thought Florida would be such a great him going to Miami, because Florida ain't got no tax. So he'd be like, yeah, I go over there. You know what I mean? I still get all my money. You know what I mean? I mean, motherfuckers love money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
hell yeah. That's
you come
at
from
the end of the
Texas,
day, that's
where
why
it's
you're doing it.
Tax free in Texas too, right? For the players. So, you know what I mean? Same thing. Like, listen, I go over there, get all my bag. You go to New York or Cali, that's, you know what I mean? You know, he's gonna lose a little bit of bread. You know what I mean?
Side note, I got to bring up one thing. Shout out to Jeremy. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you know who you are, bud. Jeremy put me on to Clutch energy drinks. and they use tea with natural caffeine.
Oh, okay.
Powered up a little bit of that with a little bit of Tito's. So I call
Tito's, give me money.
right Tito's, please. So for those of you that know me in my college life, I used to get Red Bull and vodka pretty decently if I was trying to get wrecked. I called them robot water.
Yeah.
This I call cyborg essentials.
Nice.
Mm-mm-mm.
Cyborg is said, hey, you know what I'm saying? You gotta stay fueled up. You know what I mean?
Robots need water too.
I mean, we are cyborgs. You know what's funny? When I text you, I was like, I'll jump backstage in 25 minutes. I don't know why I was watching this shit, but like I was watching some kind of like it was like a 7 things you didn't know about the Matrix like movie. You know what I mean?
God.
And like it's crazy because it's like
talk about a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're literally do like shit like this that we're doing right here. We're in these little digital boxes, like we're in the Matrix for real, bro.
So going along with the Texans, another individual who is supposed to be a free agent this year, I do believe, is Will Fuller.
Oh yeah, Will Offler is what I call him.
Yeah, Will Fuller.
I hate that guy.
I mean,
a cool guy.
Here's the thing: Will Fuller leaving, potentially, right? If they don't re-sign him, J.J. Watt gone, Deshaun Watson probably sitting out. How much trouble are the Texans in?
Here's the thing: is the Texans in the past, however many fucking years, always had like a New England like residue. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, let's bring over Romeo Crennel and Bill O'Brien. You know what I mean? then you know what I mean? Like it's like even the new hire with the new GM, Cassari, Nick Cassari or whatever. Casario. You know what I mean? Another New England guy. So it's like, and if I bring all this stuff to say because New England never had no fucking problem being like, all right, yeah, you're a star. You deserve a bag. Get rid of him. You know what I mean? Like we're done with him now. Like they just move on.
Dude, on from every guy that leaves New England too is ass cheeks after they go, I feel like. It's every one of them.
It's the exact opposite of the Adam Gaze effect, where it's like as soon as you get away from Adam Gaze, you're balling. You know what I mean? Like get out of Adam Gaze's system and you're a winner. You know what I mean?
Right. Actually, and that'll segue right into my next topic here. And the next topic I got is, does anyone want Sam Darnold? Does anyone want him?
Okay, here's something I learned, right? Because you know we dabble in this, you know, the matrix as you can call it, right? You know, like we're a makeshift journalists, and you know we're makeshift, you know, analysts. You know what I mean? We're all everything rolled into one. So it's like I learned this year that like when they come out and they say, "Oh, there's so many teams inquiring about Sam Darnold," right?
Is there?
Here's the thing. It's either flat out a lie because that's what the Jets organization would say to try to like, you know, like, hey, everyone wants Sam Darnold.
Hey, we didn't fuck up.
I know you want him too. You know what I mean? Everyone out there that hasn't already asked. You know what I mean? It's like it could be a flat out lie, or it's just teams that do their due diligence, bro. You know what I mean?
I'm just picturing people in a war room like, yo, the Jets are saying, do we want? No, we don't want Sam Darnold. No, what the fuck are they talking about?
You know what's crazy is this is why Shanahan disturbs me, right? Because first of all, he's a Sagittarius like myself, so in a lot of ways, I feel I know some of his flaws, and his flaws is that he's too good, and he's so good that he's arrogant, where he'll be like, man, I can make it happen with Sam Darnold, bro. You know what I mean? Give me Sam Darnold. I did it with Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. Yeah, what's up, Kyle? See, Jimmy's dumb as a brick. You know what I mean? We got to the Super Bowl. Give me Sam. Give me Darnold Schwarzenegger. Give me the Terminator. You know what I mean? But like, honestly, it would make sense for the Niners. He played in the West Coast style offense in college. You know what I mean? You get him in a with the zone run system A lot of the Shanahan system got a lot of pre-snap motion, so it's like this dumbass Sam Darnold could like get some, it's like cheat codes because you send a guy in motion, the defense shows you what they're gonna do, what kind of coverage it is, due to whoever follows the motion guy, like you know what I mean, like there's a lot of things that the Shanahan offense does to help a QB. Like I said, what disturbs me about Shanahan is that it's like motherfucker, just get a good QB. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like John Lynch says he regrets not drafting Mahomes. You know what I mean? Of course, because
everyone does.
Everyone does, right? And the Chiefs, matter of fact, they traded up if I remember correctly. You know what I mean? Like they wanted their guy. They're like, fuck that, we're getting man. Anyways, my point is, you know what I'm saying? Like Sam Darnold, he right now on paper, you could say he never had a chance. You know what I mean? Like, no offensive line, no legit weapons. Plus, like the fact that the Jets are like one of the most like injured teams in history. You know what I mean? They just got that curse where these motherfuckers just get hurt. You know what I mean? So it's like and then I mean, how cursed are you when you do things like you can't even make out with two girls in a club without getting mono, can you? You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I think Sam Darnold is square. Like, I think he's so square that he probably didn't even get mono from making out with two bitches. You know what I mean? He probably got it from sharing a drink with somebody. You know what I mean? Some weak ass shit. Just some extreme bad luck. You know what I mean? Like, okay, how about this? Who do you think people hate more? Like, organizationally. You know what I mean? Do you think the Jets organization don't like Sam Darnold? Or do you think the Rams didn't like Jared Goff? Because I'd say the Rams. Because they're like, you know what? Sending you to fucking Detroit.
Yeah, right.
Die.
Dude,
you know what I'm saying?
Dude, honestly, though, here's my, like, I don't know. To say that he came in with zero weapons, I mean, what? They made the AFC Championship. And
he had my man, the Green Bean. I used to call him the Green Bean back then, Robbie Anderson. You know what I mean?
Dude, and he had a fucking stellar year.
Yeah. But see, with Robbie Anderson, you want to know why?
Because he left Adam Gase.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Adam Gase is like, you know what? You're a real talented running back, Kenyon Drake. Like you a lot. We're gonna bring over Frank Gore. You know what I mean? and then it's like, he does the same thing in New York. It's like, you know what I mean? Like they had Le'Veon Bell. Like, you know what, Lev? Really incredible running back. We're gonna bring in Frank Gore. Frank Gore. He's Frank the Tank. He just doesn't quit.
Feed Frank.
Right? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like Robbie Anderson, phenomenal receiver. Phenomenal. You know what I mean? But
he was the only bright spot on that team.
I loved it too, because in fantasy, they're playing on a team that's playing from behind. So I actually like Sam Darnold because I'm crazy. You know what I mean? Like, because he's just like, he's shown up big in big spots. Like, not big spots. I'd say he showed up big when you're supposed to. Like when he plays the Bengals. Like, you're supposed to throw 3 touchdowns when you play the Bengals. You know what I mean? When he played, he tore up the Cowboys back in 2019. You know what I mean? Like, that was when the Cowboys defense was actually like, a top 15 defense. You know what I mean? But then you have the games where he plays against New England and he sees ghosts. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but it's like, yeah. I mean, I got a lot. Oddly enough, we got a lot of Jets guys that we work with. I mean, shout out to the homie Morris at the Slow Grind, and shout out my homie
Turn
Joe,
Up the Jets.
Yeah, from Turn Up the Jets, and like Morris, his sentiments are like, he wants to trade out. If you're not sold on Justin Fields, which he isn't, trade out of that spot. You put Sam Darnold in that same Shanahan system because he is Mike LaFleur, Matt LaFleur's brother. He's been with Shanahan for a cool minute, so that system that they're going to run over there is going to be similar. You know what I mean? So theoretically, Sam Darnold, he might. This change of coordinator could be what he needed, because think about Sam Darnold's career. He was drafted by Todd Bowles. It wasn't like Todd Bowles like, okay, we need to get him. That was an organizational thing. The GM was like, we're getting a quarterback. You know what I mean? Because if it was up to him, 2018. Maybe. Oh, Myles Garrett went first overall. I mean, there could have been some other guys there. Like they could have won. Maybe they could have traded out. Got more. If it was Todd Bowles, he always thinking defense, right? But no. You know what I'm saying? They needed a quarterback. They got Sam Darnold. Matter of fact, if you remember, I'm sorry, Myles Garrett went the year before that. He went 2018. No, 2017. That's right.
17. Darnold went.
Baker went over Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's crazy is you probably couldn't. The jury was out on who made the right decision there until.
Right.
Yeah, but look what happened with both these QBs. You start up Todd Bowles, then you go to Adam Gase, and that's just enough said there. He was with Adam Gase. Now he's with a rookie head coach and a rookie offensive coordinator. It's the first time for these guys, but they're part of winning organizations. You know what I mean? Like the Niners. You know what I'm saying? And, Robert Saleh with Seattle, too, also. But then, on the flip side, you have Baker, who started off with Hugh Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, historically bad. You know what I mean? Then he went on to Freddie Kitchens, the mob boss. I called him the mob boss because I thought the name was cool as fuck.
That was a bad team.
He was a really bad team. It was like a mafia hitman had put a hit on he put a hit on his own team. It was just like
he's betting against him every week.
It was crazy because they go from firing Hugh Jackson mid-season, and then Freddie Kitchens, the offensive coordinator, and Greg Williams took over, and then you saw Baker tie Peyton Manning, for most touchdown passes for a rookie season. You know what I mean? Obviously, Justin Herbert just beat that shit, but still, though, that was his rookie year. He's very accurate. Then the second year comes around, and they lost pieces on that line to retirement and into free agency, and then it was just like he was literally like on fire, like his feet, because like he was just what I mean, not comfortable in the pocket at all.
Not at all.
So, not at all. And then they address. Then the new regime comes in, and they fully now it's the Shanahan system, or the Gary Kubiak system, you could say, because that's where Kevin Stefanski came from. He's a product of Gary Kubiak, and Gary Kubiak's a product of Mike Shanahan. So it's very similar in the system, right? So now here you go. You got this system that helped Baker Mayfield. So to make my long story longer, I think that same system, which is similar with Mike LaFleur now, it theoretically will be good for Sam Darnold. Like, Sam Darnold might be a thing. You know what I mean? That you go and you look at receivers, right? Receivers who want to get a bag, they'll go anywhere. Allen Robinson.
True.
Right? You put Allen Robinson there, Kenny Golladay there, and, alongside with Denzel Mims. Maybe they bring back Rashad Perryman. Crowder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it doesn't sound great on paper, and then maybe they draft a running back for sure. Like, they got a lot of picks. They could draft one of these high-end running backs.
That was just funny. Doesn't sound great on paper, but
I'm like, but that system makes names out of no names.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
The my next little topic here. I mean, the same can be said for Carson Wentz. Am I wrong or am I wrong?
I mean, come on. Like, here's the thing, man. Carson Wentz. The worst thing that happened to him is Frank Reich left, not the ACL. Because, he tore the ACL. Yeah, it sucked. He would have been MVP, more likely would have been MVP that year. You know what I mean? Ironically, it was kind of like, it was like Derek Carr the year before when Derek Carr broke his leg. He was in the MVP conversation. But, Carson Wentz would have been the MVP. You know
100%.
Yeah, like, he got hurt week 14. So 15, so he had 2 more weeks. He probably would have threw maybe 6 or 7 more touchdowns, because that's the type of pace this dude was on. You know what I mean? He would have been MVP. You know what I mean? He was also moving around like a motherfucker. Like he used to extend plays. He was a shit. Then you get your ACL torn, and then you get injuries on that line. You know what I'm saying? Because for real, I remember I was high on Carson Wentz this year, right? Going into 2020, I was high on him. Then in the offseason, you start seeing motherfuckers just getting hurt left and right, doing fluke shit because they just weren't in properly conditioning. And I remember Brandon Brooks, I think he was like on a treadmill or some bullshit. He was doing something. He was working out, ruptured his Achilles. And I'm like, oh no, I'm like, downgrade everybody. Downgrade Wentz. Like, Wentz was a no touch to me now after that. I was like, I'm not even touching Wentz now. You know what I mean? Because Brandon Brooks is like, he was the number 1 rated right tackle. You know what I mean? according to Pro Football Focus. You know what I'm saying? So, and you've seen it. Then you know, Lane Johnson gets hurt. You know, just that line. Just there was no line. Like this motherfucker was on the run. But and then you couple that with the fact he was timid because of all the injuries, all the hits he's taken, the most sacked quarterback 2020. You know what I mean? Like
he had the yips, man. He had the yips.
Yeah, and then you get in Jalen Hurts, who's young and like wants to prove himself. Like, yeah, man, fuck this shit. I don't give a fuck. He's playing behind the same line, and he's running too. He's on the run. It wasn't like he wasn't getting pressured. You know what I'm saying? He's just like he just didn't have that. He didn't have the yips. You know what I mean?
Dude, call me crazy, but I think one of the worst things that happened to Carson Wentz is the Eagles Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
Of course.
I think
you know what's funny is that like they're good Christians, right? Nick Foles and Carson Wentz used to go to church group together or Bible study or whatever the fuck. I bet you Carson Wentz prays he dies. When he says his prayers at night, he prays to God. You know what? Just kill Nick Foles. and he's extra petty. He's like he's like, please God, don't let him into heaven either. Because when I get there, I don't want to be there. Heaven's not big enough for the two of us. You know what I'm saying? And think about this. You're the starting QB. Hey, man, shout out to you, Nick Foles. Because I always said Nick Foles, you know, one thing about, like, when people were like, oh, what do you think about Nick Foles going to Chicago, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, and I was like, well, God loves him. You know, white Jesus definitely loves him. Because it's like, he just, like, look at, they were shitty and 5-1, like, you know what I mean, with Nick Foles, like, it's like and then they lose 5 in a row after, like, oh yeah, that's Nick Foles, you know what I mean? But like, you're Carson Wentz, you're the starter. You come back the next year, you know what I mean? And there's a fucking statue of this motherfucker there, you know what I mean? Like a literal statue of Nick Foles, you know what I mean? He
That's
got
tough.
them. And it's sad because I remember like laughing so hard, bro. It was the parade. Right? There's 1 million people in the streets of Philly. It's the first time they ever won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And, you know, the Nick Foles is talking. You know, then Jason Kelsey talks. And then, Jason Kelsey talks, then Nick Foles talks.
Jason Kelsey was electric when he talked.
Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? And, yeah, he was hilarious. Like, that motherfucker, like, he was hilarious. Like, but anyways, Nick Foles says some shit. Then he goes, and then everyone in the crowd starts chanting MVP because he's pointing at Carson Wentz, right? He's like, come here. He's like, you know, next I'm gonna hand off the mic to Carson Wentz. Everyone's yelling MVP, MVP, you know, because they love Carson Wentz, right? Plus everyone's still happy as a motherfucker. And here comes Carson Wentz. He's like, everybody, you better get used to this. I started dying. I was like, oh, he cursed himself right there. I was like, white Jesus doesn't love you as much as he loves Nick Foles.
The pride of North Dakota done did it.
Hey, man, he said, oh, you better get used to this, man. And you know what's crazy? Is he gets him back to the playoffs the next year, and it's Nick Foles in it again. You know what I mean? And like, listen,
shit.
Chicago was supposed to beat the Eagles. But, you know, here's Nick Foles. He's praying to white Jesus. He's like, white Jesus, please let us excel to the next level or to the next round. Boom, double doink. You know what I mean? The fucking double doink on the field goal. You know what I mean?
Oh, fuck. Dude,
you know what's crazy is that Philly, I heard they turned down a first round pick from the Colts for Carson Wentz. I'm like, because that was the no-brainer to me. Once the Eagles came out and said, we're going to trade Carson Wentz, even before they said that, I was like, the Colts. Because it's easy. It's easy to say the Colts. That's where Frank Reich is at. They got the best offensive line. You know what I mean? And when Nick Foles had that magical run after Carson Wentz went down, bro, that whole year, that line was number one in a lot of metrics. You know what I'm saying? Ironically, he tore his ACL running a touchdown in. You know what I mean? And there was a flag on it. There was a holding, right? So he tears his ACL. He gets up, gets in the shotgun, and it's on 4th down, and he throws a touchdown pass. And then he goes in the locker room. It was all over. You know what I mean? So, but it was just, you know, so maybe that's why he's so timid too, because listen, that line was protecting him all fucking year. And you know what I mean? And he ran. He was mobile. You know, he was averaging like 34 rushing yards a game. Like you know, he was. You know, that's great in fantasy, especially. You know, it's damn. It's half a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? But this motherfucker towards the ACL running, so maybe that's why he's timid. He's a little scared. You know what I mean? The run pass option. He's like, no, we're going with pass. You know what I mean?
Instantly doesn't even read it.
Fuck it. And you know, it would make sense. Like you know, their rumors were Chicago. That would make sense. I mean, Matt Nagy's there. Matt Nagy's a product of Andy Reid. You know, so was Doug Peterson. They're running the RPOs. It's going to be similar terminology, I'd imagine. You know what I mean? I can see that work. I mean, he needs to change the scenery. And that city of brotherly love, they got the love, but it's not for him. It's for Nick. You know what I mean? And like, you know what's funny too is, I heard, so the trade rumors were he was going to go there and they were going to trade back for Nick Foles. So like, because there, you know, I can see Carson Wentz. Oh yeah, I'll go to Chicago. But if Nick is there, Nick better not be there.
Please, y'all gotta get rid of Nick.
Please God, kill Nick. He probably sees him in the shower too. He's like, fuck, this is why they call him Big Dick Nick. And he looks down at his shapes. Oh, he got this little itty bitty. Little confidence killer. You know what I mean? He sees Nick. He just, Jesus loves him. You know what I mean?
Fuck.
He hates Nick Foles, bro. I swear. Like,
so much.
If like
you gotta, right? You gotta.
Yeah. like you know what's funny is like, you know, like a therapist, right? Like you obviously they you know, they're paid to be confidential, right? You know what I mean? Where everything you say never leaves that room. You know what I mean? But like, I can see like Nick Foles' therapist, like every time walking out, Nick, okay, I'm not Nick, walking out Carson Wentz. Okay, Carson, you have a great day. And then, you know, there's a receptionist there. How was it? Oh, he just cried about Nick Foles the whole time again. You know what I mean? It's like, I know I'm not supposed to tell you this, but it's pretty obvious. All he talks about is Nick. And see, I'm telling you, bro, one day you might see, this motherfucker's a hunter. You know what I mean? He's probably gonna hit up Nick Foles when he thinks, hey man, let's go hunting. You know what I mean? And he's gonna kill Nick Foles. It's gotta be good for him.
Oh my god, dude.
Shit, fucking Carson Wentz, bro. But I mean, same scenario with like, come on, Niners. I would look, give me Carson Wentz.
You want Carson Wentz?
He's fucking dope. I'm just saying, like,
what? Why don't you want Jimmy G?
I'm not mad at Jimmy G. It's just, here's the thing. I've seen Carson Wentz come back in games. Matter of fact, in his shitty year, you would say he had a shitty year, right? He went toe-to-toe with the Steelers. He went toe-to-toe with the Ravens. You know, these are games that he barely losing. But then it's like, then you tie against the Bengals. Like, you know what I mean?
So the butt cheek Bengals. Granted, they beat my squad, but
I mean, yeah, that was kind of that was crazy.
Yeah, we had our backups in and shit. I'll chalk it up to that.
I mean, the Monday night wasn't the backups though.
No.
When you talk about backups, we're talking about it was the backup QB for the Bengals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they just came out with a phenomenal game plan and ran it all over y'all. You know what I mean? Like and it worked. And
God damn it.
You know what's crazy, bro? Our teams, man. Like, you know, a lot of people, I know a lot of disillusioned Niner fans, you know what I mean? And it'll be like, bro, it's just the injuries, bro. We're going to be back. And it's like, it's more than that because we were losing, like, parts of our culture left, you know what I mean? You know, our D coordinator left. Our QB coach left. See, and that's, ever since all this started happening, I've been trying to get Jimmy G, okay, Jimmy G, Nick Caserio was there in New England when they drafted Jimmy. Oh, send him over there. You know what I mean? Give me Watson somehow. Right? Or it'd be like, ooh, okay, well, I don't really want Sam Darnold, but, you know, if we did go to Sam Darnold route, you know, Mike LaFleur, he was the QB coach for the Niners. Like, okay, maybe he of all people would know what Jimmy's capable of. So maybe they're bringing him over. He's a bridge quarterback to whatever young QB they draft. You know what I mean? Like, there's, you know, I've been trying to send Jimmy everywhere, to be honest. You know what I mean? And it's just, and here's, to answer your question, why don't I like Jimmy? I don't like, I didn't want Jimmy. I wanted Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like, that year when Kirk Cousins was on the second year, he was a second franchise tag, I wanted Cousins.
Why?
Because he was drafted by the Shanahans. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't want RG3. So that year, the GM and the owner, Snyder, who's still a bozo, pretty much. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, he got relieved of like a lot of duties, like, this year. So, and the team actually.
Yeah, because he's a fucking bum,
He's a
dude.
fucking idiot. He's like, you want to talk about lucky? Like, damn, this motherfucker is rich. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
for no reason. No reason.
Anyways, you know what I'm saying? This motherfucker, they wanted RG3. Like, the RG3, if I remember correctly, was drafted by the Rams and then immediately was traded. And the Washington Redskins traded for RG3. You know what I'm saying? And then later, they didn't want, the Shanahans were there, Mike Shanahan and Kyle. They didn't want RG3, but they're like, all right, fuck it. You know what I mean? Because there's phenomenal coaches, offensive-minded fucking gurus in this shit. They're like, okay, we'll run the read option with him. You know what I mean? But they really wanted Kirk Cousins. That was their guy. They knew they were going to be able to get Kirk Cousins late. So they still went and got him. You know what I mean? But obviously, he wasn't going to see the field until RG3 got hurt. And then that was inevitable with that play style. And he did get hurt repeatedly. You know what I mean? So, like, besides C.J. Beathard, that's the only QB that Shanahan's ever had a hand in drafting. Everywhere he's been, he dealt with whoever was there. When he was in Cleveland, they brought over Brian Hoyer.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? When he was in with Atlanta, they had Matt Ryan. You know what I mean? And then so when he gets his first go at it with the Niners, of course, boom, he brings over Brian Hoyer initially because Brian Hoyer knows the system. Bong, right? Then, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, at the end of the 2017 year or the 2017 season, Kirk Cousins is going to be free agent. I'm like, let's go grab Kirk. I love my man, Corky Kirk. Give me Kirk. He's married. So that means like, and I actually appreciate my QB to be married because you just keep your head in the game.
Right.
I love Jimmy. He's a porn star. He's fucking all these bitches. Love it. He probably wears a mask, but he won't wear a rubber. You know what I mean? Like, he's porn star Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Hell of a guy. You know what I mean? But I had this saying, we're winning ugly with handsome Jimmy. So when we traded for Jimmy, and now they came out and said that they didn't want to come off Jimmy. They wanted to come off of Tom Brady, and Tom Brady was willing to go play for his favorite team growing up. Play with the same team that his heroes, Joe Montana and Steve Young, played for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were like, and here comes that shit about that scares me to death about Shanahan. He's like, you know what? We want Jimmy. We came here for Jimmy. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
That's that arrogance. Like, I don't need the GOAT.
Yeah, right.
Give me Jimmy.
We don't need him.
Give me Jimmy. You know what I mean? Like, and I had a saying.
We'll take his backup.
We're winning ugly with handsome Jimmy. You know what I mean? Because we won in spite of him. You know what I mean? Even though we had the highest scoring offense that year, 2019, it was a lot of it was the run game. I mean, obviously, honestly, I think he had
almost all of it.
29 passing touchdowns. But yeah, but the fact that we were one of the highest scoring offenses, it definitely was the running backs. You know what I mean? Like, and our defense was scoring too, but we were winning in spite of Jimmy.
Well, your guys' run game.
Remember the Steelers game? The Steelers game, it was the first game. You guys just lost Big Ben. So it's Mason Rudolph in Frisco or in Santa Clara. I'm at the game with my boy. I was a season ticket holder at the time. I'm at the game. Bro, he throws 3 picks. And I think he lost like 2 fumbles. Like, it was literally like 5 turnovers. No, he didn't lose 2 fumbles. He lost 1 fumble, but I think he threw like 2 picks. But then there was 5 turnovers in that game, and we still won the game. Like, you know what I mean? That was like
I remember that game.
I always use that as an example because, like, we were winning ugly with handsome Jimmy. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like Tom Brady doesn't miss that wide open Emmanuel Sanders in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
If he can get it there, no, he doesn't.
No. And come on. Let's be honest, bro. Tom Brady can still stretch the field. He was one of the deep ball. He was one of the most accurate deep ball QBs this year. You know what I mean? And even
I'm not gonna say it. I will not admit anything about Tom Brady.
Peyton Manning was throwing ducks at one point, still getting the ball where it needs to go, but they didn't always look pretty.
He had a broken neck.
I'm just saying though, Tom Brady still got the pretty spiral and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I will not admit anything about Tom Brady.
You know what? You need to put some avocados in that drink, bro. There's fucking avocados in that shit. I'm telling you.
I'm not doing it.
Unstoppable.
I'm not gonna lie. I bet for the Buccaneers, and I won some money from it. But mainly, it hurt me so much because I was like, dude, I don't want to bet for the Buccaneers. But I also know every other time I bet against Tom Brady, it's bit me in the ass. So I won't do it again.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I actually like the Chiefs to win, but
So did I. But I took Tom
took
Brady because of the situation.
I took the Tampa Bay +3 because I still wholeheartedly believe that the Chiefs were going to win, but close. So either way, Tampa Bay won, so I win that bet. But still, you know what I mean? Like that's not where that just goes to show like how really wrong I was on that one. And it's like the method of just betting against what I did worked. You know what I mean? Because what I was on was wrong.
That game was so hard to bet though because it's like in my head I'm like, there's no way.
You're down 3 starting linemen. Of course, Vegas is not going to move that line at all. It stayed at +3. You would think maybe it'll go to like 2.5. You know what I'm saying? No. They were like, we're going to keep it there because they wanted motherfuckers to bet on the Chiefs. Like, if you're a casual fan, even for the casual fan, this was difficult. Because the casual fan, you know what he'll say? Oh, it's Tom Brady. He's the best. Bet on Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Then there's the other casual fan, like the new booties. You know what I'm saying? They're like Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
here's what sucks too is like before the Super Bowl, I'm live on my show. It was actually the night you couldn't make it when I had Ivan on the show. Yeah. I'm live on my show saying, Chiefs in a blowout, I think. This is why I'm giving my analysis on it. And then later on, like the day Super Bowl Sunday, I'm looking at the line and I'm looking at the bet. I'm like, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Because I can't bet against Brady.
Nah, bro. I mean, like, it's... You know what's crazy is I was driving this narrative like I do, right?
Like I do.
I was driving this narrative that there's a new rule. The old rule was don't bet against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Now I think the rule is it is just don't bet against Tom Brady, right? That's the rule. It's always forever. That's the rule. But I thought there was a new rule, like don't bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs. But to be honest, bro, like it takes that type of that type of D line. You know what I mean? With that type of coordinator who's aggressive and knows how to use the players he got. You know what I mean? Like I saw a stat. It was like he had more yards dropping back than passing. You know what I mean? Like when you're down 3 linemen, and more importantly, like I was also driving a narrative that it might not matter because not one game not one game in the regular season did they ever have the same combination of 5 starting linemen. Like they've been moving guys around all year because of injury. But the one guy that was there all year was Eric Fisher. So losing him, that should have just been it for me. Like I should have just been like, okay, drop the mic. They're not gonna win because Eric Fisher's down. Because when no Eric Fisher, bro, that's like that's the blind spot. You know what I mean? And like all you have to do is just overload that side. You know what I mean? And like, bro, you more yards backpedaling than passing. That's fucking amazing. No,
I saw
touchdown.
I saw a funny ass twice, I think, right?
Yeah, I know.
Bat a ball, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a funny ass meme. It said that the streaker had more offensive yards than the Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
That guy made out, by the way. Hey, kudos to him.
Was it him or like his boy? Because I heard 2 different stories. I heard one story where his boy had put like 50,000 on it and was telling him, like, I guess they worked together at this porn shit, right? They have like a porn site, right? So like, and they're sitting there like I guess having lunch or something, right, at a restaurant, and he's like, I put 50,000 on a fucking someone, streaking. And then like this guy, unbeknownst to him, comes up with this brilliant idea, like, hey, I'm gonna streak, so we can make $1 bazillion, and then I'm gonna promote the porn site because that was what was on his little leotard or whatever he was wearing. You know what I mean?
Made out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was something like $50 million or something like that. 50. I mean, he put down 50 racks, so you know he had some type of bread already. You know,
Yeah,
just
for sure.
like, hey, I'm gonna put 50,000. Like, you know, that's the type of shit I would be like, oh, I'll put $20 on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's
right.
like you're basically
20
throwing
bucks
money
on a
away.
streak.
Like, I wonder if if the IRS can get on you for this, because it's like, here you go, you placing a, or maybe that's the site's fault. You
It's
know what
got
I
to be
mean?
the site, right?
Because
Got to
it's
be.
like, why have that as a prop bet? Because in the fact that you have that, and then and obviously a streaker isn't a player.
Yeah,
A
right.
streaker is a rogue audience member. So it's like you could really manifest that yourself. Like, all right, I'm gonna put my whole fucking life savings on it, and then I'm fucking getting out there, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Streaking.
I think his fine was only $1,000.
Yeah. And he almost took it to the house.
Breaking tackles and shit. Someone get this man a contract.
You feel me? Shit, he got the bag like he got a contract, right?
Oh fuck.
Okay, if my version of the story is true, because like I said, I heard two versions. Like I heard one where it was him who put the money on it, and I heard another one it was his friend, like his business partner. So like if you're that, so say it's that version. If you're that business partner, do you immediately get greedy? Like, I got 50 million here, and then the homie's like, "Hey man, what's up, man? Where's my cut?" Like, oh man,
For sure.
What happened was I'm greedy now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Some people get like that, man.
So
What would you break off the homie though? Half of it? See, that's also level agreed right there. You know what I mean? You'd be like,
I gotta
you can
think.
argue. You can argue and be like, listen, bro, you did not put not a near cent on this, but it's like, yo, but he ran out there and made it happen.
yeah, right. Oh,
Like that's why,
God.
like, I almost want to find out which version is true. Because if it is him, that's like, how do you get away with that? Like, if you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how. I mean, maybe the site can take you to court for that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Or can you even? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you feel me? Like, because it's like I don't get how that's
I don't
get how that's
know.
okay. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put all this money on a streaker. A prop bet for a streaker, and then I'm gonna go out there and streak and then win the money. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's
Because if
that's
that's the case
smart.
too, I'm hitting up all the homies. Hey, bro, we all getting rich. Put the money on streaker. I'll send you a link.
Yeah,
Here's
right.
the website, bro. Making an account. Use promo code.
Rum Boys and Monkey
Boys.
Knife Fight.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, I'm streaking. What? You streaking, bro? I'm telling you. Listen, don't tell nobody though. You know what I mean? Don't tell nobody.
Keep
You know
it
what
on the
I'm
down
saying?
low.
Keep
Keep
it on the
it
low.
low key,
You know
low
what I mean?
key.
Matter of fact, when you go to a Super Bowl party, bet everybody there. Hey, bro, I'll bet you it'll be your
Get them
streaker.
in on it.
I'll bet you it'll be your streaker. Hey, just
Oh
clean house.
shit.
It's the big hit. You know what? That's like some Russian mafia shit, bro.
There's some Black Sox shit right there with the fucking with the old 1920s shit, throwing games to make money.
Yeah, I mean, shit, that's the mob.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Where were the Black Sox at? That's Chicago, right?
Yeah, that was it was the White Sox. They bet money against basically against themselves and threw some ball games. Shoeless Joe Jackson was involved. That's tough. That sucks.
I mean, he needed money. He had no shoes. But see, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You know what I mean? Like, he was born with no shoes, so maybe he feels liberated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Maybe maybe he was betting against himself, winning all that money, and then he's figured, hey, if I buy shoes, then I'm no longer shoeless Joe Jackson.
Oh fuck. So hey, here's my next question on off-season football right here. So my next question is, what's gonna happen with our boy Dak Prescott?
So they're immediately gonna try to hit him with the second franchise tag, right? And they're gonna disillusion. He's gonna be disillusioned for a little while. They'll be like, maybe I sign it, and maybe we still work a deal out. But I think when they give him that second franchise tag offer, he's gonna feel the disrespect. You know what I mean? I mean, plus if they wanted to pay him, they're doing too many stupid things with money over there, like paying a running back hella crazy. You know what I mean? Like, they shouldn't have never done that. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I don't know how that line is going to look. The offensive line was always one of the best. Granted, he got injured, running out of the pocket. So, you know what I mean? But still, do you want to go back to that line if they're not paying you? You know what I mean? Like you're basically see the Cowboys win in this situation if he signs a franchise tag because then it's like, okay, go ball out as hard as you can because now every game is not only a resume for us, the Cowboys organization, but it's also a resume for the rest of the league. Like because he might, so he can go elsewhere and get a contract. You know what I mean? After this year, but I really think he's low key the one that nobody's talking about because he's hurt, because he is a free agent. You know what I mean? Like you hear all these rumors the Raiders are trying to do everything to get Deshaun Watson. They want to trade Carr to the Colts. And and they want to trade and take their picks and do somehow get Watson. Like, why aren't the Raiders thinking about someone like a Prescott? You know what I mean? Why Chicago? You're not hearing any Chicago rumors with Prescott. And mainly because Prescott you assume is going to want the biggest break the bank contract. You know what I mean? But I don't think he can demand that coming off this injury. You know what I mean? I think he's kicking himself in the ass for not actually signing that. They gave him an offer of $33 million or something like that a year for 5 years. And I think he was the whole thing was he wanted 35 and he wanted only to play for 4 years. He wanted a 4-year contract. You know what I mean? So he already in the back of his mind is people always thinking about going elsewhere eventually. I think he should now. You know what I mean? Because if he comes out, plays like shit because he's coming off the injury, he loses all his value. You know what I mean? Ironically, the tape on him before the injury, that could still get him a big bag. And an organization that historically overpays motherfuckers, it would be the Raiders. You know what I mean? They you feel me?
100%. The Raiders do it.
And you know what's crazy though? I'll tell you this much. If Big Ben wasn't always so muddled in what he's staying, is he going? He's like a cat. I'm not a cat person by any means. I've always been a dog person. But cats piss me off because it's you're standing in the doorway. Are you gonna leave? Are you gonna stay? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Big Ben. You know what I mean? That's why in the Bay Area we got a term called cat. It's called catting off. He's a cat artist. A motherfucker just be bullshitting. Yo, stop catting. What are you gonna do, Big Ben? You know what I mean? Because if that was clear and he was all right, I'm retiring. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, this is where Big Ben fucked up. You're supposed to do. You're supposed to when you get into the playoffs, you go, all right, man, this is my last ride. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do, even if it's not true. Just light a fire into your guy's ass. You know what I mean? But see, here's the thing too. It's with Big Ben. If he was to retire, Mike Tomlin would definitely look at a Dak Prescott. Be like, yo, come on over here. You know what I mean? We're in cap hell, but we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Hey, here's a front-loaded deal, incentive-driven. For example, Kirk Cousins. I don't know why quarterbacks ain't doing what Kirk Cousins does. Kirk Cousins all right, give me 3 years and everything's guaranteed. You know what I mean? $96 million. Smart. Then he played well enough, they tacked on 1 more year. You know what? Let's extend him 1 year. Same deal, fully guaranteed. You know what I mean? Now he's walking away with 120-something mil. You know what I mean? All guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? And then he's still young enough, he can go somewhere else after next season. You know what I mean? Why aren't quarterbacks doing that? You know what I'm saying? It's probably because the agents don't like that shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The fucking agents nah, we're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Fuck that. Guaranteed for you, motherfucker. Not for me. You know what I'm saying? But it's for instance, Deshaun Watson, of course you got to get paid. And of course you got to, you haven't won a Super Bowl, but you're going to demand a big ass bag. He got it, right? And he's not going to come up off it. And what's crazy is that when the Texans come out and they say, "Oh, we're not interested in trading him away," I think it's because no one's interested in the deals that you're trying in the deals you're offering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
They want the house.
They're asking so much value for it.
Matthew Stafford, what he got, fucked it all up. Because if Matthew Stafford's worth 2 first rounds, this motherfucker's worth like 5.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right. No shit. And then actually, let's jump right into that because that's one of my topics right here. So my fucking camera, but how dumb was the Rams trade?
I listen, here's the thing. I think Matthew Stafford is awesome. Like, even Aaron Rodgers respects him. Like, Aaron Rodgers regards him, holds him in a high regard. Says he's, you know, if not him, he's like, if not himself, he's the greatest arm talent because he throws the creepy. Like he was talking about Mahomes, right? He's like, you know, everyone, you know, they love what Mahomes does, the no look passes, the sidearms and shit. Like Stafford does all that shit. You know what I mean?
He does.
And what's crazy is like he put up phenomenal numbers, and you could say, well, of course he did. They're on a shitty team, playing from behind all the time. You know what I mean? Or you know, but it's also like he just wins with whoever they give him. You know what I mean? Like when he didn't have Calvin Johnson anymore, he made Golden Tate a thing. You know what I mean? Golden Tate came from Seattle, a run first team. He didn't know what the fuck to expect with a Golden Tate. He made Golden Tate a thing. Marvin Jones, he showed big flashes with the Bengals. You know, they get him over there with Matt Stafford. He's one of the, you know, he's always up there in touchdowns. You know what I mean? For like 20-yard touchdowns for a receiver. This motherfucker, he's the deep threat. Matter of fact, I think Marvin Jones goes for cheap to LA. You know what I mean? Because they need a speedster. You know what I mean? Because now they got a quarterback who can stretch the field regularly. You know what I mean?
Dude, here's the thing, and I actually, oddly enough, this trade happened fucking live on one of my episodes.
That's right.
It was the episode you were supposed to be on, and then you had some shit come up, and I had Ivan come on, and we were live. And it was actually funny because Ivan was like, I have some breaking trade news. Like, he figured it out, but shout out Shefty.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's only one Sheffy, there's only one Ian Rappaport, and you know what I mean? Like that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like anybody else, like it's funny, like I don't like using the word sources because it's like, yeah, like it's Twitter.
Per source.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, listen, let's not be disillusioned here. Like, you know what I mean? We're regular motherfuckers. You know, we're striving to be like some news breaking motherfuckers. We're not beat reporters out there on the sidelines. We're not, you know what I mean?
Fuck. We find out at the same time as everyone else.
Exactly.
And we ain't special. Chef ain't texting us like, hey, guess what's about to go down? Like, tune into Twitter in 10 minutes, bud.
Yeah. Like, this is gonna be big. You know, I'm letting you know this is happening. Yeah, it's funny because I love the offseason because like I said, I love to drive narratives. And like what's crazy is like I come up with nightmare scenarios as well. Shit that I don't want for my Niners. And like getting Sam Darnold, it like was one of them. Like I don't want to get Sam Darnold, right? Just because even though like everything I said earlier, you know what I mean? Like he's showing flashes. He can get with Shanahan. Shanahan can make it happen. Whatever. I just don't want Sam Darnold. Like I would actually rather have a Trubisky. Because if we're gonna go,
that's fucking bold.
Listen, because if we're gonna go with what a system can do, you know what I'm saying? Get a mobile QB with Shanahan, because we got a ton of rollouts and bootlegs, shit like that. But you know, we matter of fact, Jimmy G tore his ACL rolling out. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, but maybe, you know, and then, you know, the 2019 year. He admittedly said he was playing like at 80% all year because he was, you know, still not fully recovered from the, you know, well enough to play. You know what I mean? But, you know, he just, and then ironically, I think he still wasn't this year. You know what I mean? Ended up fucking, you know, having that knee issues with the same knee. You know what I mean? So, like, I just give me, because if you're going to be a guy who stays in the pocket, you better be the best fucking passer. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins ain't really going to run around at all, but, like, he's one of the more accurate quarterbacks every year. You know what I mean? Like low key, like okay, without knowing, what do you think Kirk Cousins' stat line was this year? Like at the end of the season?
I mean, what What do you want? Do you want
Passing
like
touchdowns. How many passing touchdowns do you think he had?
38?
Close. He had 35, right? And he passed for over 4,000. I'm just saying though, on a run first team, maybe that's a credit to how bad their defense was, giving them a lot of
I
points
think
playing
that's a
along.
credit to Dalvin Cook, if anything.
Yeah, but and it's also that system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was Kubiak's, that zone run. It opens everything up. You know what I mean? That's why I would rather have Kirk Cousins. Because if at least you're going to be a guy in the pocket, be super accurate. Because if you give me a Trubisky, now it opens up a whole different playbook. You know what I mean? Sam Darnold is a guy. It's like I'd rather, if it wasn't, if it wasn't any difference, just keep Jimmy then. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, here's my thing,
like
and
if I was gonna say Darnold or Jimmy, you know what I mean?
like my thing is this, and we kind of touched on it earlier, but when I was live and Ivan brought it up, and I was like, whoo, at the time, obviously Matt Stafford was 22 or 32.
Yeah.
Oh, 22, Jesus.
He just
He's
turned 33.
Yeah, he just turned 33 on February 7th. My thing is this: is Matt Stafford worth the value at 33 years old? I don't think so. I think that's a dumb fucking trade that the Rams just made. Granted, I don't think
this is prime age for a QB, and now you're getting a guy where a lot of wear and tear. You know what I'm saying? A lot of wear and tear, a lot of mileage on that motherfucker. But
Yeah.
never had a run game to speak for. So it was like, if you look at his career, he's in the 90s as far as percentile of production, offense production that goes through him. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there was touchdowns being scored by that offense, it was probably on the arm of Matt Stafford. You know what I mean? Like, no running backs really. You know, and they finally get him DeAndre Swift, and then he's out of there now. You know what I mean? He's like, all right. But that's to my point. Got Cam Akers there now. It's the same thing as the Shanahan system, but with mad tweaks, though, because Sean McVay is an offensive genius as well. So he took little pieces from everyone he's been around. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, though. Like, okay.
Think about this. A lot of bells and whistles. A lot of the same look. Those show the same look. 3 wide receiver set or 12 personnel. And, like, there's so many different checks. In each play, there's basically, like, for example, I tripped out one day. I'm like, damn, they got a wheel route built into every goddamn fucking play. Like, you know what I mean? There's always a bailout somewhere.
Dude, call me crazy, but I like Adrian Peterson more than Cam Akers. Cam Akers had what, 625 yards on 145 attempts or whatever it was. Like, dude.
Okay, so but let's be honest here.
I like DeAndre Swift more too.
How many carries did you say? 120?
140.
140. So you give him another 100 touches, right? Which is realistic to me. You know what I'm saying? That's 1,200 plus yards. You know what I mean? And he's probably going to get like a few hundred through the air.
Yeah, but he averages 4.3 a carry.
Love it.
I mean, yeah, that's not bad at all. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think
that's better than average.
Right. I don't think that's like stellar. Like I would rather have.
But you got to remember, they don't really respect Jared Goff as a passer. You feel me? So like, you know, there's more. He's seen more 7-man boxes than not. You know what I mean? You know
right. Yeah, like, I feel that.
Now you got Matthew Stafford there. Like it's gonna open the lanes up because now you got a dude who's deadly with the arm. And I'm telling you, bro, like it's something else too. It's you go from a place like Detroit where he loved the city. You know what I mean? Because it's a city in shambles all the time. You know what I mean? Like this people that go to Detroit, bro, you got, and you know, like a lot of players, they fall in love with Detroit because it's like you feel for the people. But let's be honest though, it's shit over there. You know what I mean? His wife hated it. So, you know, happy wife, happy life. So he's probably getting bitched at all the time. Matter of fact, it's so, God forbid, you know, anyone gets brain cancer or cancer at all, right? But she got brain cancer. You know, she probably could blame it on just like, listen, I got cancer in Detroit. Like, you know what I mean? Now they go to the sunshine in Hollywood, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's gonna be happy, so that means he's gonna be happier. He got a brand new shiny new stadium. You know what I mean? Only in the second year. They're hosting the Super Bowl that year. So you know what I mean? Like so they're playing every home game in the place the Super Bowl is going to be played. You know, that's something that's going to be in those locker room speeches. You know what I mean? Those huddles. You know, all right, guys. You know what I mean? We're trying to get to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Maybe Tom Brady, he set a new trend, like, because, before that, bro, again, I remember when Minnesota hosted it a couple years ago, right? When the Eagles beat the Patriots. I remember Minnesota, right? I kept saying, I remember telling my homies, nobody that hosts the Super Bowl ever gets there. I swear to God, just keep betting against fucking Minnesota. And then, wild card. I mean, they're coming off the bye week. Then they beat whoever the fuck it was. Who did they play? Oh, they beat the Saints. The Minnesota Miracle.
Yep.
Right? And then I'm like, you know what? And the motherfuckers is mad. Bro, listen. They're hosting the Super Bowl. They're not getting there. Put all the money on the Eagles. And yeah, I won. But, you know what I'm saying? Still, that was kind of my theory this year too. Like, there's no way that fucking Tom Brady gets there. Is he? I'm like, it is Tom Brady. But I'm like, they're hosting it.
It is Tom Brady.
Right? Bro, he went to a new team. Think about this. Remove the name. It's just quarterback, right? It's just a quarterback.
Quarterback 12, QB 12.
Quarterback, QB 12.
NCAA 14 shit.
Yes, so QB 12 goes from one organization to another, a whole new team, you know what I mean? All new routines, and it's this type of year where you can't, there's no OTAs, maybe like a makeshift training camp, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, no preseason, and then that team goes on to win a Super Bowl, like as a wild card. Granted, there's a 7th seed. I think they were the 5th seed, so they were good there. It wasn't like, so still though, that's for a Tom Brady team, that's a wild card in the regular year. He was the 5th seed. Or no, not a wild card, but still, he's the 5th seed, one of the bottom seeds, right? The fact that we have the 7th seed this year, you know what I mean? It's not so bad. It's middle of the pack, right? As far as the playoff teams, you know what I mean? But, bro, it's fucking Tom Brady. He did it. And then, you know what's funny? Just throwing the trophy around like they don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, I got 6 of these. I got 6 more of these. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Just chucking them around, boat to boat.
Dude, I just, I don't know. I think it was a dumb trade. I just think it was stupid.
Stupid on whose end?
On the Rams end,
okay,
dude.
Think about this. When they traded for Ramsey and they gave up 2 first-round picks,
yeah.
Did you think that was stupid?
I did.
But
I did.
But check this out. Now we're past 2 years, right? We're past 2 years. If in those 2 drafts, if they were to grab a cornerback in each one of those drafts, none of those guys is Jalen Ramsey. So I think they win there. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Then you look at this. They know Sean McVay, he had no choice. You know what I'm saying? He got there. Jared Goff was there. Okay, Jared Goff's my guy, right? Literally knew Jared Goff could play in the playoff game, but they were starting their other guy because the other guys, he had some wheels. He had he had a bigger arm. You know what I mean? Like, it just different. It opens up a different playbook. You know what I mean? You're not limited to this one. And you're Sean McVay. You know where Jared Goff's flaws are. You know what I'm saying? Because you're close knit with him to scrutinize. All your practices and all this shit, right? Game tape, etc. See, he has all that same shit with Stafford right now, except for the close knit scrutiny. So from the outside looking in, he's like, give me Stafford. Matter of fact, the first thing they did. They were watching they were watching Scotty Miller score fucking touchdowns on Green Bay, and they were like, when Green Bay loses, make the fucking phone call. Because they tried to get Aaron Rodgers first. They're not playing. They're like, fuck it. So they went from Aaron Rodgers like, all right, you know what? Give me Stafford. I like Stafford. Immediately, he's better than Goff. You know what I mean? Immediately. You put Stafford in that system.
Yeah, absolutely. He is, right? But he's also 33 years old, and you're giving up a lot of value.
I'd say this. It's part business too, because they made a foolish mistake over, given the contract they did to Jared Goff. So not only do you get rid of the contract, you get rid of these first round picks that are usually in the back of the first round too, because you know what I'm saying. You're not really, they're not a losing team. You know what I mean? So they know they're never going to be able to be in reach to get a young QB to replace Goff. You know what I'm saying? Sean McVay, maybe they find one along the way. But Sean McVay and the Rams, this is why I respect them. They always want to win now. They're not, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because
It's true.
they want to win now all the time. You know what I mean? Like, when Sean McVay came in there, they turned that thing around. They got to the playoffs. The next year, they were in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They locked down the players that they need to lock down. Hey, listen, Gurley, fuck, we're overpaying you. You know what? Fucking cut him. Fuck it. No one's going to trade him. We asking them motherfuckers, cut it, we'll take the L. You know what I mean? They just, fuck it, move on. Jared Goff, you know what? We don't like you. Toodaloo. You know what I mean? With your fucking big contract too. You know what I'm saying? Like, because honestly, there's not too many differences in the two of them. Like since Jared Goff came into the league, right? As far as their numbers go. Like, matter of fact, even this year, I think like Matthew Stafford, his average depth of target was like a little over 7 yards. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. A little over 8 yards. I mean, and then like Goff was like like 7 points, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like I know those numbers are inaccurate, but I'm just saying they were close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, they were definitely, but it's the intelligence too. You know what I'm saying? For example, I remember watching a Brian Hoyer interview. Right? First of all, one of my best friends, he's also my barber. This motherfucker looks exactly like Brian Hoyer. So anytime there's Brian Hoyer anything, I just watch it and I laugh because he looks like my boy. You know what I mean? My boy dumbass looks like Brian Hoyer, I should say. But anyways, so they were interviewing Brian Hoyer. He was on a talk show, and they were like, this is right after the Super Bowl win, and they're like, oh, what is it like being a backup, QB for Tom Brady? He's like, oh, you get these real easy. He's like, talking about his ring. You know what I mean? But he was like, it's the biggest role is every week you're studying the opposing quarterback because in practice you're playing the opposing quarterback. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
He's the role. So he said all week he's studying Jared Goff because he's playing Jared Goff in practice, right? Against the Patriots defense. And he noticed something. He was like, Jared Goff, he never checks out of the play or audible shit because Sean McVay's telling him exactly what to do. So they figure, okay, the communication it has to cut off at a certain point. So we're gonna show Jared Goff this look, and Sean McVay's gonna be giving him the play. Soon as that communication cuts off, and we know it because it's a certain timing, right? You can only right.
Yeah, right. I think it's like 15 seconds,
right,
on the play clock.
Then they go ahead, switch up the look, and he's fucking confused. You know what I mean? And he didn't throw not an air touchdown in that Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So the jury was out. I mean, the gig was up. The jig was up for Jared Goff. Then he comes out the 2019 year and he has one of his his bad years. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as his career so far. Like actually his rookie year was the worst, but I'm saying like he didn't have a super phenomenal like top 5 performance. You know what I mean? Like it was like he was a QB2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like that's fine, but Stafford, now here you're getting a guy who isn't going to have to. He's not only going to be able to put points up, but if you guys get into some shootouts, he's going to be able to get you guys back. Because Sean McVay, it's always like if they got into the hole, he has to call a masterful game. You know what I mean? He has to call every fucking play down to the T because Jared Goff isn't going to improv anything. You know what I mean? Like he's an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not that smart to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, he's not that smart, but like I said, and I said it the night that the trade happened, to give up that value for a 33-year-old quarterback blows my mind.
I mean, shit, they really fuck with they really fuck with the now aspect. And
They do, but
I think, okay, let's say this. 2, 3 years. Like, okay, how about this? This system, it's gonna protect them as well. You know what I mean? Because the play action and all the pre-snap motions, shit like that, it's gonna help him stay upright because that line is immediately better than the line that he had in Detroit.
yeah, they are, but at the same time, I don't think Cam Akers is that great personally. Like I don't know, man.
Cam
I
Akers
just
or Joe Mixon? Because I legit have to figure this out for my keeper league. I'm like, fuck, I don't know who to keep between those two.
I would keep Joe Mixon.
That's where I'm going to, right? I would lean Joe Mixon because I've seen it with Joe, and Joe Mixon is actually talented. But
especially because, unfortunately, I think the Rams are going to throw the ball a lot more with Matt Stafford.
But Cam Akers, here's the thing. What Sean McVay wants to do is have one running back, right? He did it with Gurley. This year, he fooled around with timeshares, but once Cam Akers got fully acclimated to that system, he was seeing 78% of the snaps. You know what I mean? That's Todd Gurley level of shit. Like Todd Gurley was up there like in the averaging like 80% of the offensive snaps. So he's on the field 80% of the time. You know what I mean? But Cam Akers was getting there, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like they were feeding him like shit in the playoffs too. Like this is a guy they want to lean like. And if you're gonna bring over,
but do you give up that value? Do you give up that value for a 33-year-old quarterback?
Okay, so I'd imagine they have guys in their office that take care of this shit, right? Like there's somebody in the office that's scouting these young QBs in college, right? And maybe they don't see anybody in this next 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? Maybe they're like, You know what? Sean McVay's like, you know what? Let's get Stafford, and then we'll wait till that Manning kid comes. We'll wait for that Manning kid, young Archie. You know what I'm saying?
He looks raw, dude.
I mean, like raw as in like he's still a project, or raw as in he's dope.
Both, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think raw is actually a good word to describe him because he's only gonna get better. That's what's crazy. So raw he's just the beginning. It's in his fucking blood. It's crazy. Look at it really is in their blood. Like, because look at Eli Manning. He's a fucking buffoon. And he got to.
Buffoon. But he balled out in the playoffs for no fucking reason, dude.
I mean, shit. And you know what's crazy? He's not the rah-rah guy either. Like, all his career, he wasn't really the guy who was like, speaking up in the huddle. You know what I mean? Because, it's just like, it's funny because Michael Strahan said some shit. Like, he's like, I'd see them over in the huddle, and he don't really seem like he's getting the guys jacked up. You know what I mean? He's like,
yeah.
But either way, Eli man, like, listen, all you gotta do is get into the playoffs, bro. Look at Nick Foles, right?
Bingo.
Look at Nick Foles. I mean, shit, like a really incredible run too. Look at Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco got into the playoffs. They were
fucking Joe Flacco, dude.
They were a fucking 9-7 team, bro. And like. And then the devil himself, because he claims to be a God guy, but I think Ray Lewis is a fucking devil worshiper. Anyways,
for sure,
right? The devil himself was like, he was smart. He was like, all right, guys, this is my last ride. You know what I mean? And fucking, they used to have this magical ride to the Super Bowl, and it was a tough road. First, they went to fucking they beat up the young Andrew Luck, right? Rookie Andrew Luck. They beat him up, outsmart him. You know what I'm saying? Then they go into Denver, you know what I'm saying? And you got to go toe to toe with fucking Peyton Manning. And it was so crazy because I swear Joe Flacco was taking advantage of that high altitude because he was like throwing big bombs, like big bomb to Torrey Smith, big bomb to Anquan Bolden, like over and over again, just like destroying destroying their secondary, just destroying them, big ones, house calls. Just you know what I mean? It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember they were talking to Ray Lewis after the game, on the field. And he's like, how'd you feel? We just figured, we're going to have to outsmart Payne. And we did a great job of that. You know what I mean? It's just like, and then they go on, they got to go into New England. And first of all, beating the Patriots is one thing, but in New England too, and they beat them up. You know what I mean? And they go to the fucking Super Bowl. So it's like, and then Joe Flacco gets paid like he's elite, and he's not. You know what I mean? He's froze. Come back to me. Come back to me, Blake. And it's the Blitz with Blake show. FaceTime Blake.
Making a FaceTime call to Blake.
Goddamn cameras.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, shit. Fucking, I gotta start plugging in some Wi-Fi. Oh, I'm getting a
Hold on.
from
Yeah,
you. What
it's
up?
me. I'm trying to fucking close it. I don't know what's going on.
I
there
answered,
you go.
but then I hung up.
Thank you, sir. Bro, I was
all right.
fucked up last night though. Stupid shrooms. Love shrooms. No, but I was to say, bro, like, yeah, I mean, the motherfucking there's a point I was trying to drive. First of all, I wanted Safford too. Like, I wanted that man. Give me
You wanted him in San Francisco.
Fuck yeah, I want anybody in San Francisco, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be happy for moving with Jimmy. Fuck it. You know what I mean? We love Jimmy. I'm going to love whoever it is, but, like, I just want someone with actual arm talent. Like, Darnold, arm talent versus Trubisky, yes. But I would say I would want Trubisky because it's the type of offense we would have now. A different type, we would have a different type of offense. Like Shanahan, I've seen him with mobile QBs before. You know what I mean? With one of the premier mobile QBs that fizzled out with RG3. You know what I mean? Like RG3 balled out under Shanahan. You know what I mean? Like, but see, that's just another thing too, where it's like it is mad arrogant. You know what I mean? For him, for any of those QBs to go to the Niners, that would be a perfect example of Shanahan's arrogance. Like, yeah, I don't win with anybody. But under that pretense too, it's like, well, fuck it, we already have Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? I think the Sam Darnold thing would be smart because money-wise, maybe even Trubisky because he would be cheap. You would imagine, like, motherfuckers not gonna be like, listen, I want fucking 28 million a year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no,
28 million.
Like, no, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Plus, Darnold, I think would be smart because we're in a cap situation. Like, we got a lot of players that are probably gonna leave us in free agency, and we have to pay Fred Warner, if not this year, next year, because it's his contract year, and then eventually the year after that, we're gonna have to pay Bosa. So, like, moving on from Jimmy, which is a team-friendly deal, to be honest. People were like, oh, you guys overpaid for Jimmy. No, what we did was looked at the QB market, how, it was at the $30 million that year. So we got him at $25 million a year, $75 million guaranteed. And after that, so it's like, it's where it gets finicky, where we can move on, shit like that. So this is going to be his third year out of 5 on a contract. You know what I mean? So Jimmy's, that's below market. You know what I mean? If we get a Sam Darnold, that would be just straight up like we're clearing money because, yeah, I don't know how much rookie QBs get on their first rounders. You know what I'm saying, on their first deal, but still, he'd be cheaper. And it's the 4th year of a rookie contract. We would have the option to pick up a 5th year. You know what I mean? And then that's incentive for a Sam Darnold to play. You know what I mean? But please, God, don't give me Sam Darnold. Please, God. Well, yeah, Blake. Blake's joint's been trimming all day. He should have just did a show like that. Just fucking blacked out. Blake, come back to me, Blake. I think that's it. I think it's a wrap. It's funny because I'll just keep talking. Right, as soon as I see Blake dip out, right? Because of the issue, whatever, Wi-Fi issue, whatever it is, I just keep talking to, like, hopefully he'll come back by the time I'm done with this long extendo rant. For sure, Blake. I think we should cut it. FaceTime Blake.
Making a FaceTime call to Blake Dillevue.
And that's a wrap.
All right. Hey, Bogard, we're going to cut it out because my internet's fucked up and so is Bogard's. But, hey, we're live right now. Let the people know where they can find you at.
Oh, shit, that's right. You can find me at the GMM Network. God damn it.
That's it. That's all we got. Appreciate y'all listening.
Oh, and be on the lookout for me and Blake's show. I'm going to talk to you a little bit after about I got the show. I got the name, the idea for the name, too.
Brand new show, folks.
Yep, on the Real Boys Fantasy Network.
It's going to be fire. All right. Appreciate y'all listening. Cannot thank you enough. Hey, go ahead and do me a favor out there and take her fucking sleazy.